Alex Carter yawned as he stared at the computer screen. Another quiet night shift at the Nevada Space Observation Facility meant hours of watching for unusual signals from space. At 24, Alex was the youngest astrophysicist on the team, but his talent with languages had earned him this position straight out of graduate school. The facility sat isolated in the desert, miles from the nearest town. Most nights passed with nothing but the occasional meteor shower to break the monotony. Tonight seemed no different until a sharp beep from his console jolted Alex fully awake. "That's strange," he muttered, adjusting his glasses. The signal pattern didn't match anything in their database. He checked the readings twice before calling his supervisor, Dr. Natalie West. "I think you need to see this," Alex said when she arrived, pointing to the screen. "The signal repeats every 94 seconds exactly. Natural phenomena don't do that." Dr. West's eyes widened. "Run it through all verification protocols. I'll call the director." Over the next 3 days, the facility buzzed with activity. Government officials arrived and the signal continued growing stronger. Experts confirmed what Alex had suspected. They were receiving a message from an intelligent non-human source. On the 4th night, a violent thunderstorm swept across the desert. Lightning struck nearby as the team tracked something entering Earth's atmosphere. Through the facility's windows, they saw a bright light descending fast, too controlled to be a meteor. "It's landing," Dr. West whispered as they watched it touch down just 2 miles from the facility. Despite the storm, a team including Alex suited up in protective gear and drove to the crash site. In the glow of their headlights, they found a metallic object about the size of a small car. It wasn't burning or smoking, just sitting there, its surface shimmering with strange symbols. "Keep your distance," ordered Director Sam Foster. But before anyone could respond, a section of the craft slid open. Alex held his breath as a figure emerged. At first glance, it looked like a child stepping out. But something was different. The being stood just 3 feet tall with slender limbs and large almond-shaped eyes that reflected the flashlight beams. Its skin had a faint bluish tint and, despite its small size, its body proportions suggested an adult form. The being raised a hand in what appeared to be a universal gesture of peace. Then, it spoke. The sound was musical, but incomprehensible. "I'm going to try something," Alex said, stepping forward slightly. He mimicked the greeting gesture and introduced himself slowly. "Alex, my name is Alex." The being tilted its head, then pointed to itself. "Lyra." Its voice was high but clear. Within hours, the small alien sat in a hastily prepared quarantine room at the facility. Government scientists confirmed she posed no biological threat, though they maintained protocols. Lyra had brought a device that began to translate basic concepts after she fed it samples of English. "I am diplomat," Lyra explained through the device on the 2nd day. "Ship damaged in your atmosphere. Rescue comes soon. My people watch Earth long time." Alex, with his background in linguistics, was assigned to work with her. He spent hours helping improve the translation device, fascinated by how quickly Lyra learned. "My people called Astrali," she told him. "We live 16 light years from Earth, our lives 3 times longer than humans." "Why come to Earth now?" Alex asked. "Time right for meeting," she said. "Humans ready for knowing, not alone." Over. The next 3 weeks, Alex spent more time with Lyra than anyone else. He learned that the Astrali were peaceful explorers who had observed Earth for decades. Their technology allowed them to travel vast distances through what Lyra called fold space, though her small scout ship had limited capabilities. While government officials debated what information to share with the public and how to proceed with first contact protocols, Alex and Lyra formed an unexpected friendship. He brought her books and music, teaching her about human culture, while she shared stories of planets he could only imagine. "Your eyes similar to my brother," Lyra told him one evening as they shared a meal. She ate mostly fruits and vegetables, finding them compatible with her biology. "Same color like forest water on Homeworld." "I wish I could see your home," Alex replied. Lyra smiled. "Maybe someday. Our worlds will be friends, I think." The night before her rescue ship was scheduled to arrive, the facility held a small farewell gathering. The initial fear and suspicion had given way to cautious optimism about humanity's first alien contact. Even the normally serious Director Foster raised a glass in toast. "To new beginnings," he said, as everyone clinked their glasses. Later that evening, after a few drinks made him bolder than usual, Alex knelt down beside Lyra's chair, where she sat watching the humans with curious eyes. "You know," he said loud enough for others nearby to hear, "where I come from, kneeling like this means something special." His words slurred slightly. "It means asking someone to marry you, to be partners forever." The room grew quieter as people turned to watch. "When you come back someday," Alex continued with a grin, "I'll marry you, Lyra of the Astrali. What do you say?" Laughter broke out around them. Dr. West shook her head with an amused smile. Lyra, not fully understanding the human custom but recognizing the friendly atmosphere, laughed too. "Your custom's strange, Alex Carter," she replied through her translator, "but I remember this promise." The next morning, with a mild hangover and slight embarrassment, Alex joined the team escorting Lyra back to the landing site. A ship much larger than her scout craft hovered silently above the desert floor, its design elegant and otherworldly. Before leaving, Lyra placed something in Alex's hand, a small crystal that glowed with an inner light. "For remembering," she said without the translator. Her English had improved remarkably in 3 weeks. "Will your people really come back?" Alex asked. "Yes. Worlds will meet again." She looked directly into his eyes. "I will remember, Joke promise." With those words, she turned and walked toward the ship. A beam of light surrounded her, lifting her small form into the craft. Minutes later, the ship rose silently into the morning sky, accelerated and vanished. As the team returned to the facility, Alex held the crystal tightly in his hand. Something told him his life had changed forever, though he couldn't have guessed how completely Lyra would keep her word about remembering his joke promise. For now, he had become part of history, one of the first humans to befriend a visitor from another world. The crystal in his pocket glowed warmly, as if responding to his thoughts. A small piece of a distant star that would one day lead him to adventures beyond his wildest dreams. 7 years passed since the day Lyra left Earth. The world had changed in many ways, but the excitement of first contact had faded into memory for most people. Occasional messages came from the Astrali, but they were mostly formal exchanges between governments. No ships returned to Earth. Alex Carter, now 31, stood at the window of his office at the Colorado Institute for Extraterrestrial Studies. Snow fell softly outside, covering the research campus in white. On his desk sat the small crystal Lyra had given him, still glowing faintly after all these years. He used it as a paperweight, a daily reminder of those 3 remarkable weeks. "Dr. Carter, your 2 o'clock meeting is here," his assistant said through the intercom. Alex sighed and turned from the window. "Send them in, please." His life had taken a path he never expected after Lyra left. The government had created new research divisions focused on preparing for future alien contact, and Alex's experience with the Astrali language made him valuable. At 28, he became the youngest department head in the Institute's history, leading a team studying alien biology and culture. The meeting dragged on for 2 hours, discussing budget allocations for the next year's projects. By the time it ended, Alex felt drained. These days, he spent more time in meetings than doing actual research. As the other scientists filed out, Dr. Olivia Reed lingered behind. They had dated for nearly 3 years before breaking up 8 months ago. "You look tired," she said, concern in her voice. "Just the usual bureaucracy," Alex replied with a small smile. "How's the communication project going?" Olivia now led the team attempting to improve translation of the periodic messages from the Astrali homeworld. "Slow progress," she admitted. "We could have learned so much more if they had sent another ambassador." Neither said what both were thinking, that Alex had never fully moved on after Lyra left. It had been a factor in their breakup, though not the only one. His obsession with understanding alien cultures had always come before his personal relationships. "Maybe someday," Alex said, touching the crystal on his desk. After Olivia left, Alex worked late into the evening, reviewing research papers from his team. The institute building grew quiet as people went home. Outside, the snow continued falling, and darkness settled over the campus. Just after 9, his phone rang. The screen showed a name he hadn't seen in years: Dr. Sam Foster, the former director of the Nevada facility. "Sam?" "This is unexpected," Alex answered. "Alex, how quickly can you get to Washington?" Sam's voice was tense with controlled excitement. Alex sat up straight. "What's happened?" "They're back. An Australi ship entered Earth orbit 2 hours ago. Much bigger than last time." Alex's heart pounded. "Have they made contact?" "Yes," Sam replied. "They're requesting permission to land a diplomatic party. And Alex, they asked for you by name." The crystal on Alex's desk pulsed brighter, as if responding to the news. "How soon can you be ready?" Sam asked. "There's a military transport waiting for you at the local airfield." "Give me 30 minutes, Alex said, already moving. He threw essential items into a bag, his mind racing. 7 years without a word specifically to him, and now they were asking for him by name. Had Lyra sent someone? Or could she possibly? He pushed the thought away, not wanting to hope too much. 3 hours later, Alex sat on a military aircraft, heading to the newly built International Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Facility outside Washington, D.C. The facility had been constructed over the past 5 years, designed specifically for hosting non-human visitors. It featured adaptive environments that could be adjusted for different atmospheric needs. Sam met him when the plane landed, looking older but energetic. "Good to see you, Alex. Been too long." They rode in a government car toward the facility, a sleek complex of curved buildings surrounded by high security. "What exactly did they say about me?" Alex asked. Sam handed him a tablet. "This is the translated message. Read it yourself." Alex's fingers trembled slightly as he read. "We request permission to land diplomatic vessel with 12 representatives. We ask specifically for presence of Dr. Alex Carter, who facilitated first communication. Important matters to discuss regarding expanded relations between our worlds." "No mention of who sent the message?" Alex asked. Sam shook his head. "Nothing specific. Could be standard diplomatic protocol to request the original contact person." But the crystal in Alex's pocket felt warmer than usual. At the facility, Alex was brought to a secure room where a team of government officials waited. They briefed him on protocols for the meeting scheduled for the next morning. The Australi ship remained in orbit, having agreed to follow Earth's procedures. "Remember, you're now representing all of humanity," warned Patricia Daniels, the Secretary of State. "Anything you say could have significant diplomatic implications." Alex nodded, barely hearing the political cautions. His mind kept returning to a single question. Would Lyra be among the visitors? After the briefing, he was shown to private quarters to rest before tomorrow's historic meeting. But sleep seemed impossible. The room featured a balcony overlooking the facility grounds, and Alex stepped outside into the cool night air. Above him stretched the clear night sky, stars brilliant against the darkness. Somewhere up there, the Australi ship orbited, carrying visitors from a world 16 light-years away. Had they brought news from Lyra? Or had she perhaps advanced in her own career, sending others in her place? Alex took the crystal from his pocket. Its glow seemed to pulse in time with his heartbeat. In 7 years he had learned little about how it worked, only that its light responded somehow to his emotions. "I kept thinking about you," he whispered. Not to the crystal, but to the memory of a small, blue-tinged face with large, expressive eyes. "I wonder if you remember a foolish human who got on one knee and made a joke that wasn't really a joke." The crystal flared brightly for a moment, then settled back to its normal glow. Alex stayed on the balcony for hours, watching the stars and wondering what tomorrow would bring. When he finally went inside, he placed the crystal on the nightstand, beside his bed. Its gentle light was the last thing he saw before closing his eyes, dreaming of worlds beyond his own, and a promise made in jest that had somehow shaped his entire life. Morning arrived with a soft knock on Alex's door. A facility staff member informed him that the Astrali ship would land in 2 hours. Alex showered and dressed in the formal attire provided for him, a dark blue suit that seemed appropriate for meeting aliens. His breakfast remained untouched as he reviewed briefing materials about diplomatic protocols. The crystal from Lyra sat next to his coffee cup, glowing more brightly than usual. "Dr. Carter, it's time," said a security officer. At exactly 9:30 a.m., Alex followed him through the facility to a large circular room designed for interspecies meetings. The chamber featured a round table with chairs of varying sizes. Large windows revealed a landing pad outside where officials waited in formal formation. Secretary Daniels approached Alex. "Remember, let me speak first. We need to establish proper diplomatic channels before personal connections." Alex nodded, though his attention remained fixed on the windows. In the distance, a silver shape descended from the clouds, much larger than Lyra's small scout ship from 7 years ago. This vessel was elegant, shaped like a teardrop, at least the size of a commercial airliner. It landed without a sound, hovering momentarily before touching down on the pad. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then, a section of the hull melted away, forming a ramp. Alex held his breath as figures appeared at the entrance. The Astrali delegates emerged in a formal procession, 12 small beings, each about 3 feet tall with the same bluish skin tone Alex remembered. They wore flowing garments in various shades of green and blue, with intricate patterns that seemed to shift in the sunlight. And then he saw her. Leading the procession was an Astrali, slightly taller than the others, wearing a silver-white robe adorned with symbols of authority. Even from a distance, Alex recognized Lyra. She moved with grace and confidence that spoke of her elevated position. The human delegation stepped forward to greet them outside. Alex remained in the meeting room with a few senior officials, watching through the windows. The Astrali were escorted inside, and Alex straightened his tie, heart pounding. When the doors opened and the delegates entered, Alex's eyes immediately found Lyra's. For a moment, neither moved. Then her serious expression softened into a small smile of recognition. Secretary Daniels began the formal welcome. "On behalf of the nations of Earth, we welcome the representatives of the Astrali people." The diplomatic formalities continued for nearly 30 minutes. Lyra, speaking through an advanced version of the translation device, introduced herself as Ambassador Lyra, Senior Diplomatic Envoy of the Astrali High Council. She presented her delegation, scientists, cultural experts, and security advisors. Throughout the introductions, Alex noticed how Lyra had changed. She carried herself with authority that hadn't been present 7 years ago. Her eyes, still large and expressive, now held wisdom that came with responsibility. When the initial formalities concluded, they moved to the conference table. Alex found himself seated directly across from Lyra, their eyes meeting whenever she wasn't addressing the broader group. "Our council believes the time has come for deeper cooperation between our worlds," Lyra explained. "We propose cultural exchanges, limited technology sharing, and scientific collaboration in areas of mutual interest." The discussions continued for hours, covering everything from communication protocols to potential trade agreements. Alex spoke, when asked about his expertise in Astrali language and culture, careful to maintain professional composure despite the emotions churning inside him. As the meeting adjourned for a midday break, Lyra approached Secretary Daniels. "If permitted, I request a private meeting with Dr. Carter to discuss historical context of first contact. This would provide valuable background for tomorrow's negotiations." The secretary glanced at Alex, then nodded. "Of course, Ambassador. We'll arrange a suitable meeting room." 20 minutes later, Alex found himself alone with Lyra in a small conference room. Security cameras had been disabled at the Astrali's request, a standard diplomatic courtesy for private conversations. As soon as the door closed, the formal demeanor Lyra had maintained throughout the morning melted away. She smiled widely, eyes bright with emotion. "Alex Carter, she said in English, her accent much improved from years ago. Your face looks older, but your eyes same. Alex found himself at a loss for words. Lyra, I didn't know if you would come back. I requested this mission, she admitted. Many others wanted Earth assignment. I told Council my experience made me most qualified. Alex smiled. You've risen in rank since we last met. Yes. For me, only 3 years passed. Astrali experience. Time differently during space travel. She tilted her head curiously. For you, 7 years. A long time for humans. Not so long that I forgot. Alex said softly. Lyra reached into a pocket in her robe and withdrew something that made Alex's breath catch. A small Earth coin. The same quarter he had shown her during their conversations years ago, explaining human currency. I kept this, she said. To remember Earth. To remember you. Alex pulled out the crystal she had given him. I kept this too, always. Lyra's expression grew more serious. There is something you should know, Alex. Your joking proposal that night, it created unexpected situation. What do you mean? In Astrali culture, declarations of partnership, even in jest, are considered meaningful when witnessed by others. She looked down briefly. When I returned home and reported all interactions, this event was noted in official records. Alex's eyes widened. Are you saying that as far as your people are concerned, we're engaged? Not exactly. But some traditionalists in government consider us to have social bond. She hesitated. This became politically significant when relations with Earth expanded. Some believe existing connection between human and Astrali could be advantageous for diplomacy. Is that why you're here? For political advantage? Alex tried to keep disappointment from his voice. No, Lyra said firmly. I requested mission because I wanted to see you again. Politics came after. Her large eyes studied his face. I never corrected misconception about our bond because I remembered our time together differently than simple diplomatic contact. The weight of her words hung in the air between them. Alex realized she was saying she had personal feelings for him that went beyond duty or protocol. And now? He asked quietly. Now we have much to discuss, Lyra said, about what is possible between different species, about what you truly meant that night, about what we both want now. She reached across the table, her small 3-fingered hand coming to rest near his. 7 years ago, you made joke that changed more than you knew. Now we must decide if that joke holds truth or should be finally forgotten. The crystal in Alex's hand pulsed brightly, as if responding to the moment. Outside the window, Earth's sun shone on a day unlike any other, when a human and an alien from worlds light years apart confronted feelings that had crossed the vastness of space to bring them together again. The next 2 weeks were a whirlwind of diplomatic meetings, cultural exchanges, and private conversations between Alex and Lyra. Their personal time was limited but precious, stolen in moments between official functions. They walked in the facility, gardens, designed to be comfortable for both species, and spoke of all that had happened in their time apart. Tell me about your home, Alex said during one of these walks. What is it like to live among the Astrali? Lyra described cities built in harmony with nature, where buildings grew from living materials. She explained how her people valued emotional connections over physical ones, and how partnerships were based on deep understanding rather than what humans might call romance. For Astrali, the mind connection is most important, she said. We believe souls recognize each other across distances. Alex found himself drawn to this concept. Is that why you remembered me? Soul recognition? Lyra smiled. Perhaps. Or perhaps I simply found your joke proposal interesting enough to remember. They laughed together, but both felt the weight of unresolved questions between them. What kind of future could exist for two beings from different worlds? Meanwhile, news of their supposed engagement leaked to the press. A staff member had overheard part of their conversation and misunderstood. Within days, media outlets worldwide carried stories about the human scientist and the alien ambassador, with headlines asking if interspecies marriage was possible. Alex's phone rang constantly with interview requests. His parents called, confused and concerned, wanting to know if the stories were true. He tried to explain the cultural misunderstanding but found himself unable to deny his feelings for Lyra. Secretary Daniels summoned him to her office, her expression serious. "This is becoming a diplomatic incident, Dr. Carter. Some religious groups are protesting the idea of human-alien unions. Others see it as a beautiful symbol of cosmic unity." "It's a misunderstanding," Alex began, but she cut him off. "Is it? The Australi delegates seem to view your relationship with Ambassador Lyra as significant, and I've seen how you look at each other." She sighed. "Whatever this is, it's now part of our negotiations. Handle it carefully." That evening, Alex received a surprise visitor to his quarters. Olivia, his former girlfriend, now working as a science correspondent for a major news network. "They sent me because we have history," she explained. "Everyone wants the exclusive on your alien romance." "It's not what people think," Alex said, though the words felt hollow. Olivia studied him closely. "Isn't it? Alex, I've known you for years. You've been waiting for her to come back. It's why things never worked between us." Her words struck Alex with the force of truth. His fascination with alien cultures had always been more than academic. It had been about Lyra all along. "What am I supposed to do?" he asked. "We're from different worlds, literally." "Maybe that's what makes it special," Olivia suggested. "Some people search their whole lives for a connection that transcends the ordinary. You found one that transcends planets." After Olivia left, Alex couldn't sleep. He stood on his balcony looking at the stars, the crystal from Lyra warm in his hand. Could there be a real future with someone so different from himself? The next morning, Lyra arrived at his door, her expression troubled. "We must talk. My delegation faces problems." They walked to a secure garden area away from listening ears. Lyra explained that news of their relationship had reached the Australi homeworld, causing political divisions. Some saw human Australi connections as proof that meaningful bonds could form between their species. Others viewed it as dangerous boundary crossing. "My position as ambassador is at risk," Lyra admitted. "Some say personal feelings cloud my judgment in negotiations." "What do they want you to do?" Alex asked. "Choose between career and exploring what exists between us." For the first time, Alex saw vulnerability in her diplomatic facade. "I have worked 7 years to reach this position, to be voice between worlds." Alex felt a weight settle in his chest. "I would never ask you to give up your career. And I would never ask you to give up your life here," she replied. "But universe rarely offers simple paths." Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent call. Secretary Daniels requested their immediate presence in the main conference room. When they arrived, the atmosphere was tense. Both human and Australi delegations had gathered around screens showing news broadcasts. The story of Alex and Lyra had exploded globally. Commentators debated the biological, ethical, and religious implications of human-alien relationships. Some spoke of beautiful cosmic connections, others of unnatural unions. "This has gone beyond a personal matter," Secretary Daniels said. "It now affects our formal negotiations." The head of the Australi security team, a serious-looking male named Pax, stepped forward. "Ambassador Lyra's authority has been questioned by counsel. Some suggest recalling her." Lyra straightened her small frame, dignity in every inch. "I have served my people faithfully. My personal connections do not compromise my duty." "Perhaps," said Pax, "but tradition matters to many on the council. If personal bond with human exists, it must be acknowledged properly or denied completely." Alex looked at Lyra, seeing the conflict in her eyes. Her career, her position, everything she had worked for was threatened because of a joke he had made years ago, and feelings that had grown beyond either of their expectations. That night, alone, in his room, Alex made a decision. He composed a public statement denying any romantic relationship with Ambassador Lyra. He wrote that cultural misunderstandings had been blown out of proportion, and that while he respected the ambassador, Their connection was purely professional. His finger hovered over the send button. This would end the controversy. Lyra could keep her position. Diplomatic relations could proceed normally, but the crystal on his desk glowed brighter than ever, almost pulsing with light. Alex remembered Lyra's words about astrology beliefs, that souls recognize each other across distances, that some connections transcend the ordinary. He deleted the statement. Instead, he wrote a note to Lyra, asking to meet privately before the next day's session. He knew what he needed to say, what he should have said years ago when he knelt before her as a joke. Some things, once spoken even in jest, revealed truths too powerful to deny. Now he needed to speak those words again, this time with complete sincerity. The crystal glowed steadily, as if approving his choice to follow his heart, across the stars. Dawn painted the sky in shades of pink and gold as Alex waited in the garden for Lyra. He had barely slept, his mind filled with thoughts of what he would say. The crystal sat warm in his pocket, glowing steadily. He heard soft footsteps and turned to see Lyra approaching. She wore simpler clothing than her formal diplomatic robes, a light blue tunic that matched her skin tone. Without her official garments, she looked smaller, more like the Lyra he had first met 7 years ago. "You wanted to speak before today's meetings," she said, her large eyes studying his face. Alex took a deep breath. "I've been thinking about everything. The joke proposal, your return, the political complications, and I've made a decision." He knelt down on one knee, just as he had done years ago, but this time with complete clarity of purpose. From his pocket, he took out the crystal she had given him. "Lyra of the Astrali, 7 years ago I made a joke, without understanding its meaning or importance. Today I make the same gesture with full awareness of what I'm saying." He looked directly into her eyes. "I don't know if partnership between our species is possible, but I want to try, whatever form it takes, whatever challenges we face. I choose a path that includes you." Lyra's eyes widened, the pupils expanding with emotion. "Alex Carter, you understand this could change both our lives in ways we cannot predict?" "I do. My career, your work on Earth, both would be affected, I know." She was quiet for a long moment. Then she reached out and placed her small hand over his. "The Astrali believe that souls find each other across vast distances. Perhaps this is why I never forgot you, why I worked to return to Earth, when others could have come instead." She took the crystal from his hand. "This is a soul stone. Among my people, they are given only to those with whom we share deep connection. I gave you this before I understood why. Now I know." Alex stood, still holding her hand. "So what do we do now?" Lyra smiled. "We face the universe together, and see what is possible." Later that morning, they entered the conference room side by side. Both human and Astrali delegations fell silent, sensing something had changed. Secretary Daniels raised an eyebrow at their unified entrance. Alex cleared his throat. "Before today's negotiations continue, Ambassador Lyra and I have an announcement." The room tensed. Pax, the Astrali security chief, frowned. "We wish to formalize a partnership," Lyra stated calmly. "Not marriage in the human sense, but a committed bond that both our cultures can recognize." Murmurs spread through both delegations. Secretary Daniels stepped forward. "Ambassador Dr. Carter, while your personal feelings are your own, this raises significant diplomatic questions." "Yes," Lyra agreed. "Which is why we propose making our partnership the centerpiece of a new cultural exchange program. Let us be the first official bridge between our worlds." The bold proposal silenced the room. Then an older Astrali female, named Mira, who served as cultural attaché, spoke up. "The council discussed this possibility before our departure. If Ambassador Lyra and Dr. Carter are willing to be first participants in formal exchange program, it could serve both worlds." Discussions exploded around the table. By day's end, a framework emerged. The Astrali would establish a permanent embassy on Earth. and preparations would begin for a small group of human diplomats to visit the Australi homeworld. Alex and Lyra's partnership would be officially recognized by both governments as a diplomatic and cultural union. Over the next month, they worked together to design a ceremony that blended traditions from both worlds. It would be held in a special garden designed to accommodate both species' environmental needs. The day before the ceremony, Alex received unexpected visitors, his parents, flown in by government transport. His mother hugged him tightly. "We had to meet her before tomorrow," she explained. His father seemed more uncertain. "Son, are you sure about this? She's not even human." "Dad, when you meet her, you'll understand," Alex said. "She's different from us, yes, but in all the ways that matter. Intelligence, compassion, the capacity for connection. We're the same." When Lyra joined them for dinner that evening, Alex watched as his parents' initial awkwardness gave way to genuine curiosity and warmth. By the end of the meal, his mother was showing Lyra family photos on her phone, and his father was asking thoughtful questions about Australi culture. "She loves you," his mother said later when they were alone. "It's in her eyes when she looks at you. Some things are universal, it seems." The partnership ceremony took place at sunset the next day. A small group of human and Australi representatives gathered to witness. Alex wore a dark blue suit that matched the color of Earth's oceans as seen from space. Lyra wore a silvery garment that caught the light like stars. They exchanged simple promises to respect each other's differences, to build understanding between their worlds, to face the unknown together. Alex placed a ring of earth silver on Lyra's small finger. She gave him a new crystal, one that glowed with deeper blue light than the first. "This stone is paired with one I wear," she explained. "No matter how far apart we travel, they will always glow in response to each other. Distance cannot separate true connection." After the ceremony, Secretary Daniels announced the formation of the Interspecies Cultural Exchange Initiative, with Alex and Lyra as its first directors. The program would allow selected humans and Australi to experience life on each other's worlds. That evening, they stood together on the observation deck of the new Australi embassy, watching Earth's sun set in a blaze of orange and red. "Will it be difficult?" Alex asked, looking down at his small partner. "Living between two worlds?" "Yes," Lyra answered honestly. "We will face challenges others do not. You will age differently than me. Our biology means we cannot have children together. Some on both our worlds will never accept us." She turned to face him. "But we will also experience wonders others never will. You will see my homeworld. I will continue to learn about yours. We will build bridges between stars." Lyra pointed to a distant point of light just becoming visible in the darkening sky. "That is the star my world orbits. Once it seemed impossibly far from Earth. Now it is simply the other end of our shared journey." Alex smiled, feeling the weight of their decision but also the lightness of certainty. A joke made years ago had set in motion events neither could have predicted. A human and an alien, separated by biology, united by something deeper. Pioneers of a connection that might someday change the relationship between two civilizations. "So," he said, taking her small hand in his, "what's our first project as directors of Interspecies Exchange?" Lyra's eyes sparkled with the reflection of Earth's evening star. "Teaching others what we have learned, that the universe's greatest distances are crossed not by spaceships but by understanding hearts." The two crystals, his and hers, pulsed with synchronized light as darkness fell and the stars emerged, each one a possibility waiting to be explored together.